It's Super Bowl weekend. Two teams that no one really cares much about are playing. You and your friends get together to celebrate. You're so prepared for the Super Bowl party, but you forgot one thing.
Hey, you're out of toilet paper.
That's okay. Here, take my jersey.
Thanks. Cowboys. Yeah, that'll do.
Don't be this guy.
Get the 3 shells from Acme. How do you use the 3 shells? Step 1. Take 2 of the seashells and place them between your fingers to be used like chopsticks. Step 2. Using the 2 seashells, gently pull on feces to remove them from your posterior until bowels have been completely emptied. Step 3. Using the 3rd seashell, scrape away any fecal remnants from your posterior. Step 4. Dispose of all 3 seashells in toilet and flush. Congratulations! You have now mastered the 3-shell technique. Now go forth and enjoy that Super Bowl game. Acme 3 shells. Yes, you just scrape shit out of your ass. Guaranteed.
Live from D&D Studios, it's This Week Live with Rocky Red Panda. This week's the good, the bad, and the Artist of the Week and special guest Lakota and snowy Gettysburg battlefield. Here's your host, Rocky Red Panda.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Rocky Red Panda, and this is This Week Live. It's February 7th, 2021. That's right. So, we have a packed episode for you this week, so let's not waste any time. But before we do it, again, I gotta drink my coffee. So what am I drinking? This is Dunkin's extra charged hot original coffee, but in this case, it's cold. It's been sitting around, but in extra large form. This is what keeps me going, folks. It's what keeps me going. So, again, we have a packed episode for you this week. So, coffee aside, let's not waste any time. This is the Super Bowl Groundhog's Day Washington Mayhem. Hey! It's Snowed Edition. So, let's jump right into this week's The Good, The Bad, and the That's where we poke fun at some of this week's news. And yes, all politics are still on the table. So, let's go ahead and let's toss the intro card. That's right. I have the intro card. You guys love it when I toss things. So, here we go. Boom. That's right. Right about now, I read the good at good topic and followed by the bad with the topic. We won't be doing it anymore. We will be just tossing things. Lots of things, but the news will remain the same. Hey, we toss lots of things. Hoopla! Yeah, do a little Greek dance there. Or attempt, because I'm sitting in my chair. It just doesn't work right. So, let's get back to some coffee. Alright, so let's talk about Old Man Winter that hit much of America this past weekend. The East Coast, from Boston to Washington, D.C., got paralyzed with so much snow. Up to a foot plus in some areas. Millions are trapped again in their homes, but not because of COVID. Hey, it's snowing. Glad I stocked up on wine. I'll need it. Hey, you kids, stop fighting. Your mother needs her quiet time. Though out of the snow, there was some fun like this. Bernie Sanders' snow sculpture. And this guy cross-country skiing in Erie, Pennsylvania. I wish I can see that around my area. That'll just be so much fun. I want to cross-country ski now. But, though, once the storm stopped, came what we call the big dig-out. And this news story from Pennsylvania showed up. 3 dead and murder-suicide over snow removal dispute. That's right. A man in Pennsylvania shot and killed a couple over a snow removal dispute before taking his own life. Now, so, snow can do funny things to people. Just be careful where you put that snow you shovel. Thoughts and prayers go out to the families of those who died. Just senseless. That was just senseless, folks. Speaking of winter, Tuesday was Groundhog's Day, where meteorologist and brother to Gus, Pennsylvania's second most famous groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, comes out to tell us the weather. Since last year's Groundhog's Day, everyone was praying and hoping that there would be an early spring. But sadly, as those men in top hats fondled that groundhog for dear life, he saw his shadow. Or was that, he's happy to see you? Well, for some, it's like it's time for a mini vacay. Time for some pure Florida sunshine. Oh, wait. I can't go. COVID restrictions. Darn you, old man. Winter and Corona. So Phil saw his shadow, which means 6 more weeks of winter. And it was all predicted in an online ceremony. Yes, COVID restrictions, very safely. It's either you're stuck inside staring at snow outside your window, or you're stuck inside staring at rain outside your window. Blizzards or floods? Blizzards or floods? You know what? I demand a recount. Since it was virtual, there were no audience participation. No Phil groupies, just cardboard cutouts. How do we know the results are accurate? How do we know there was no fraud at play? I think it's time we call next president to investigate. Excuse me, 1 second. Huh? Oh? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep, right. Sorry, P&D Studios and This Week Live had to say that there were no frauds found in the Groundhog's Day celebrations, and that Phil's predictions stand, and no Dominion voting systems were rigged or hacked in the voting of 6 more weeks of winter. So, there is some big news this week in the world of business and online shopping. Jeff Bezos is stepping aside from his role as CEO of Amazon. You know, that guy that's supposed to be the second highest person in the world with the most money? That guy. Watch as the stonks skyrocket and his immortality immortalized with a candle saying, "Once the owner of Amazon, always the owner of Amazon." And still the second richest person in the world. Now let's move down to Washington, D.C., where the political civil war is in full swing. That sounds like such poetry in motion. But Trump's second impeachment is on his way. This past week, Trump fires all his lawyers and hires 2 new ones. Immediately after taking their position, this happened. They misspell United States. I mean, it's not like he went to school to get an education or anything. Well, then again, they had only 24 hours to prepare, so there's mistakes bound to happen, but still, that's a big one. That's a big one. We don't condone that. I mean, they claim that Senate lacks jurisdiction to remove from office a man who does not hold office. Even though there is ample precedent for it doing exactly that. Yeah, I mean, this means, if this goes through, he won't be able to run for office again, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. But we'll catch back up with the impeachment as it happens in future shows. But for now, we have to talk about Dear Miss Green. Oh, yes, that one. Who once posted Squad's worst nightmares. You should have known better. She issued an apology of some sorts. Listen to this.
I've been here for 1 month and a day, and I've gotten to know part of my conference, my Republican colleagues, but not even all of them yet. I haven't gotten to know any of my Democrat colleagues, and I haven't had to have any conversations with any of you to tell you who I am and what I'm about, that I'm a very proud wife of almost 25 years, that I'm a mother of 3 children, and I consider being a mother the greatest blessing of my life. What you need to know about me is I'm a very regular American, just like the people I represent in my district and most people across the country. And I got very interested in it, so I posted about it on Facebook, I read about it, I talked about it, I asked questions about it, and then more information came from it. But you see, here's the problem. Throughout 2018, because I was upset about things and didn't trust the government really, because the people here weren't doing the things that I thought they should be doing for us, the things that I just told you I cared about. And I want you to know, a lot of Americans don't trust our government, and that's sad. I've lived a very good life that I'm proud of, my family's proud of, my husband's proud of, my children are proud of, and that's what my district elected me for. You see, school shootings are absolutely real. I know the fear that David Hogg had that day. I know the fear that these kids have. I also want to tell you 9/11 absolutely happened. Cancel culture is a real thing. It is very real. And when big tech companies like Twitter, you can scroll through and see where someone may have retweeted porn, this is a problem. This is a terrible, terrible thing. But yet, when I say that I absolutely believe with all my heart that God's creation is He created them male and female, and that should not be denied, when I am censored for saying those type of things, that is wrong. These were words of the past, and these things do not represent me. They do not represent my district, and they do not represent my values.
She was tossing in her kids, her husband, but didn't once say, "I'm sorry for how I acted." Almost like a tossed salad of things. But this will bite her in the green. Green ousted from panels for touting conspiracy theories, and yes, 11 Republicans voted to do so, siding with Democrats. Way to go, Republicans. Her response? She's fine. Committees would be a waste of time. Really? Much like your talk of school shootings and Jew lasers in space. Pew, pew. Jewish lasers. I gotta say it right. Jewish lasers. And there's no such thing. That's hogwash. But we're gonna move across the seas. Let's discuss Myanmar. Myanmar. I gotta get it right. Myanmar. I usually say Malamar, but it's Myanmar. So, I need coffee for that. As an Asian country, I'm Asian, I should be able to get that. Let's try this again. Let's discuss Myanmar. There we go. In Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi was arrested for her position as Democratic president after winning it through an election, stating that these elections were rigged. Where have I heard that one before? Well, right now the military is in power. But to talk about Myanmar, we have to go back to 1988. The military was in power, and they fought like hell. They wanted democratic freedom. They didn't want to be ruled by military. Where have we seen this before? Oh, in multiple countries. Unlike Tiananmen Square incident in China, this is a lot different. In this case, she legitimately won her election by popular vote. Just recently, got elected, was placed in the office. The military says, oh, this election was rigged, and she was rigged to actually win this election, was falsifying votes, and they arrested her. She is now on house arrest, along with her vice president. But however, Myanmar politicians defy coup, saying they are true government. Now, nearly 300 politicians from ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi's party announced they had named a committee to carry out the functions of parliament. The protests are currently wrapping up. Protesters are taking to the streets with the three-finger salute, green fingers, and nod to the Hunger Games, and chanting, "Long live Mother Sue," and "We don't want military dictatorship." Now, just take a look at some of this. These are people showing their democratic freedom. They're protesting on the streets. They started out at night by banging pots and pans, making loud noise. But soon, they started doing it in daylight. The teachers, the students, doctors, most of the people, they're out there. They're protesting their democratic freedom because they want democracy. They do not want to be ruled by a dictatorship of military. Now, where does this sound so familiar, folks? We think of Hong Kong. We think of what's happening in Russia right now with Vladimir Putin. But in the case of Hong Kong, there's not much that we can do with that case. But in the case of Myanmar, there's a lot that they can do. So we here at This Week Live stand with democracy and denounce anyone who tries to overthrow it. I'll leave you with this video from the Free Hong Kong movement. And this is "Do You Hear the People Sing?" sung in Chinese. Check it out.
試問誰還未發聲？不惜竭力齊護我城，天生有權還有心可作主，誰要認命更聲？試問誰能未覺醒？聽出那自由在奏鳴，激起再難違背的那份良知和應。為何美夢仍是個夢幻想等一次泡影？為這黑與白，這非與是真與偽來做證，為這世代有未來，要給時擦亮眼睛。試問誰還未發聲？不惜竭力齊護我城，天生有權還有心可作主，誰要認命更聲？試問誰能未覺醒？聽出那自由在奏鳴，激起再難違背的那份良知和應。無人有權沉默看着萬家燈火變耀色，為我心再用我手去為選我命途力拼，讓嘅是人有責任有自由決定願景。試問誰還未發聲？不惜竭力齊護我城，天生有權還有心可作主，誰要認命更聲？試問誰還未覺醒？聽出那自由在奏鳴，激起再難違背的那份良知和
That song speaks to what's happening in Myanmar and Russia and in Hong Kong, and people fighting for their democratic freedoms all over the world. I'll leave you with that thought. We'll be right back after this commercial break, however, with special guest and artist of the week, Lakota. That's right. We have Lakota this week, so definitely stick around. We'll be back. Hey there, folks. This is Rocky Red Panda, your host of This Week Live, P&D Studios, and illustrator at Panda Numeric Designs. Are you looking to get official This Week Live, P&D Studio, and Panda Numeric Design merchandise? That's right. Go to my website at pandandesigns.com, click on the shop, which will take you to some sweet, sweet stuff via my online Etsy store. All right, we are good, and we're live in 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys, welcome back. So we have here Lakota, who is the artist of the week and is our guest with us today. So welcome.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, minus the snow and the cold weather, but besides that, there's not much you can do. So why don't you tell people about yourself and kind of a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So I am a freelance artist and illustrator from Missouri, about an hour south of St. Louis. I've been doing it for I have been doing artwork for probably 15 years, been doing it professionally for about 10, just a little over a decade. So my wife is actually the one who got me started down this path. She I remember had just moved into her parents' house and was living in her basement, and she was cleaning out a closet, and she handed me some canvases and was like, do something with these, which I'm sure meant go put these in another closet. But I started painting and I haven't stopped.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, because I looked at some of your art, which I'm actually going to pull up here. We're going to do the little slideshow thing here. So mine, this is completely something new. So you're going to see black here for a moment as I import all of your lovely art. And can you see your art there?
I can see it.
Beautiful.
Does it look good on your side?
It looks good on my side. So I you sent me the art, and the first thing that came to my mind was the creator of Invader Zim, and it kind of like, I should say, almost like was it Meat Puppet on YouTube that I've started to watch, kind of like this dark, sensible humor, because I know they did something similar with Ron McDonald. So I mean, yes. So tell us about your style of art, and this is just unique.
Thanks, man. So my style, obviously, like, we pull our inspirations from, what do they say? It's like, if you copy one artist, it's plagiarism. If you copy many artists, it's research. So, I mean, that's where we all kind of pull from all of these artists out there. And I think my biggest inspirations when I was starting out was Alex Pardee and Gus Fink. I really liked Alex Pardee. Has this, I mean, the first time I saw his line work, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crisp, and this is what I want to shoot for. And then I saw Gus Fink, and it was like all this just splatters and nothing was really crisp. And I was like, oh wait, do I want to do this? So I just kind of merged those two worlds together, and started going down that path. Now, I started off with acrylics, which I don't do a whole lot anymore.
Okay.
I do a lot of watercolor and ink. And then here recently, just back in quarantine, I started doing digital art. And cool. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I got furloughed, and then I had picked up an iPad. I almost didn't. My wife once again saved my bacon.
An iPad. I love
yes. So my wife once again saved my bacon and was like, don't don't just get the computer, get the iPad too. And I was like, okay, fine. I never really planned on doing digital. And then during furlough from my work, I was like, well, I guess I could start learning. And I started asking people just for their faces so I could practice. And I would do
Yeah.
these wild portraits. And I got so many requests, and then they started tipping me. And then I got so backed up that I was like, okay, I'm going to have to charge, this amount. And then I'm like, that'll cut everybody off. They just kept coming in. I had to raise my prices 3 times. I ended up making more money on quarantine than I did at work. So
Wow.
the plan was this year to hopefully finally jump out of my day job and start doing this professionally. Like 100%, that's going to be my job. So
Correct.
we'll see.
I mean, the old saying is don't quit your day job. Hint, hint. But, you've been told that a lot. Most people tell you, don't quit your day job. And it's like, which one are you talking about? That
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, but with the iPad, that's what I use. I use an iPad, and it's the Apple Pencil. It took me a while because when I first started, I was Android all the way. I was Android.
Same.
Actually, no, I started on the computer. It was all mouse and Photoshop and trying to do line art.
Yeah.
With it. I was like, Then I had a Wacom tablet, and I was like, I can't see what I'm doing. I don't like that. So I got Samsung, and I've been using Samsung. And then I was like, it finally failed. So I'm like, you know what? My phone's a Samsung. That's a Note. I'll keep that. And then I'll just use an iPad, and I haven't gone back since.
Yeah, man, the iPad, I thought that so I started off on Photoshop. I tried it a while back. So me and my cousin started a business called myrmediums.
Okay.
I'm doing that now. He's gone. He wasn't in. He didn't like it.
Yeah.
But he ended up getting a Wacom Cintiq, and I tried that, and I couldn't get it, man. I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing. Plus, on top of that, I came from like using, I think, CS5, and then all of a sudden I hopped into the Adobe Cloud, and it was like, wow, things have changed.
A lot has changed. I used Adobe CS6 or whatever the last one was until they finally says, oh, we're ending support for this. You can't use this anymore. So we're going to merge you over to cloud. And I was like, okay. Oh, by the way, it costs this much a month. I was like, I'm no longer a student. I can't afford that. The student,
you're right.
I need to, because that's what I do. It's like, if I don't draw, I need graphic design. I was like, okay, yeah, might as well just bite the bullet.
Yeah,
exactly. And with the Cintiq, I tried the Surface Pro 3, which is almost like a Cintiq. It ran on Windows, and I didn't really care for it.
no.
And I literally said, here, I gave it to my dad. You take this. I want something else. It's like I tried Android, I tried this, and the only thing I fall back is like, I don't want to try Apple. Okay, yeah, I'll try Apple. And I've been with them. Yeah, this is my second version of the Pro. So
Yeah, is it? Yeah, I thought that like using Procreate, because it was only not a flat fee of $9.99. I thought, this is going to be a good starting point. And then it's like, no, like you can do everything on this.
correct.
And I mean, you need more brushes, just buy the brushes, and yeah, it's been great. I love digital now.
Well, that's great, because I've seen some of your digital. It almost looks like an acid trip. It literally does. Like your Let's Party with COVID 1999. It's just like, it's like an acid trip, and it just reminds you of like the 90s and 80s and what they were doing. I was like, wow, this is amazing. But then you go from that to Ronald McDonald and a little bit of Beetlejuice happening over there, and then you have this, and it's like, I'm so conflicted, but at the same time, I love everything you're doing, because it's just unique. It's creepy. It's like what I do. You give this to someone, it's like, here you go, and it's like, why did you draw that? I'm like,
because I can. And it's like, you didn't have to do that. I was like, well, because I can, because it's creepy.
Exactly.
I mean,
That was up.
just like your Sonic. Your Sonic's just like, yeah, that's perfect.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I go back on back and forth. Excuse me. I go back and forth on which one I like more, and I think I just like them equally. I like getting my hands dirty with the traditional, but it's digital is so streamlined and it goes so fast. And I mean, back whenever I was doing album covers where it was like I'd have to do a painting and then take a picture of the painting and then edit that and then send that to the band. And it's like, well, now I can just do it and Dropbox it or send it in Google Drive and we're done. We're done.
Yeah, I mean that's what you call progress in the future. Doing work for
exactly.
You. Yeah, it's great stuff, and I absolutely love it. I had a thought there, and it just flew outside, just like the bird and cuckoo nest. So if you could give one advice to someone that's wanting to become an artist, what would you give them?
Okay, so I would say, okay, so I started making money, and this is if you're wanting to be an artist, like you want to be a paid artist.
Correct.
So I would say your best bet in the beginning is you have to put yourself out there. Obviously, that's what. So if I wasn't trying to make money, I wouldn't even have social media. So that is your biggest tool is social media. But where I got my foot in the door was working with local bands. If you reach out to your local music scene, there's bands out there that their art is music. They don't know that much about, there's some that I'm sure are artists themselves, visual artists, but they don't have time, so their album covers and their promo ends up being a crappy picture of themselves looking stoic on a train track or something. Dude, go out there and just say, look, I'll work with you, sliding scale fee, get how much they can afford at first, because no one knows who you are. You're just, artist off the street. You deserve to get paid, but you don't want to ask astronomical prices right out the starting gate, because people are scared of that. They don't want to lose money, so just work with bands, coffee shops and stuff, to see what you can do to help promote them and get your paycheck, and just keep doing that. Don't be afraid to commission artwork right out the starting gate, because that's where a lot of us got our money from in the beginning, was you commission,
Hello.
And every 6 months. And whenever you get to a point where people are kind of like, I don't know about this, that's where okay, I've plateaued. I'm going to stay here for a little bit, and then start putting your own stuff out there. And you just got to have to. I'm getting messages. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, we had like a little break with internet connection there, and you froze. I was like, wait, hello, and then all of a sudden you all came back, so we're good.
Okay, good. But yeah, you have to develop a following. Put in your 10,000 hours, and then it's just a bunch of hard work. You have to put in the work. And
would you agree that you have to spend money to make money?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to spend as much as you think for you guys starting out there. So for my supplies with traditional artwork, what I work with is I just go out to Walmart and get apple barrel paints, or my watercolors that I've been selling for years. It's just Crayola, or something 50% off at Michael's. It's not the quality of the stuff that you're using.
Okay.
the quality of the work you're putting into it. But then whenever you jump over to the digital side, yeah, you got to spend money to make money. Like,
Yeah, you
we're
have
gonna,
to spend money because
yes,
you don't want to buy a cheap Chinese knockoff. I know friends that do
no,
have cheap Chinese knockoff. And he said, "Oh yeah, they're great." I was like, but it's not an iPad. It's not an iPad. No.
no.
And
I
when it
will
comes to
say
art,
this though.
yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I almost dropped the money on an Apple Pencil because everybody I talked to was like, yeah, that's what you have to get. And I was like, okay. I ended up finding a $40 stylus on Amazon, and I tried it. I paired it with a friend of mine's Apple Pencil. It's the same thing. It's the
Yeah.
same thing, and it charges faster.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, of course, me, I had to get the Apple just because, I have an iPad, might as well get the Apple. I'm going to put this stimulus check to good use going back into my business. I
Right.
did. So
And the Apple Pencil's great. The Apple Pencil is great.
it's
It's a
great.
great tool.
It's great. It's heavy, but with the new iPad, it kind of docks here. And of course, if you don't have the right case, it can fall off. So I had to get myself one of these little heavy cases to carry it. So
There you go.
separate, but it comes in handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could meet any artist or work with any artist living or dead, who would you want to work with?
Oh man, that's a good one. I would like to meet Alex Pardee. I would like to just to hang out with him. He seems like a really cool guy. He was my first art hero. And but I think living or dead, who would I work with? I would really like to work with Edward Gorey
Okay.
or Bosch. I think
All right.
Bosch was way ahead of his time. I would just like to sit down with him and pick his brain. But he's been dead for centuries. But
He has.
on top of that, I think too, some people, I don't know if he's even that relevant anymore, but Speedo Sausage. Do you ever watch- do you
Oh,
ever-
yeah.
you ever- oh
You're
my
going back a
God.
while.
Dude, he was incredible. His
Uh-huh.
stuff was amazing. That's actually like Meat Canyon is the new Speedo Sausage
Yeah, I agree.
for sure.
Actually,
But
before Speedo Sausage, I think let me see if I can find what his name is, because I actually met him and I actually got him to do art to see.
really,
Let's see. What is this? I think, yeah, that's right. Bob Camp. Bob Camp would be the first Speedo Sausage who did Ren and Stimpy. Because if you think of whatever all that, and you think of the first one, which is Ren and Stimpy, that was the first one to actually get commercialized on Nickelodeon. And of course, Nickelodeon said, "Oh, this will be fine. Kids can watch it. They'll be fine." And then you see close-ups of people, and you see the teeth and the teeth and the hairs and all the things. When you look
yes.
far away, it's like a handsome girl, and you get close, and it's like they're ugly. I was like, that was Bob Camp,
Those-
He
yeah,
brought that
yeah,
forward,
Bob.
and then everyone else just kind of followed suit.
Yes, they Bob Camp, and man, it was such a shame because speaking of art heroes,
Yeah,
another person that I pulled a lot of inspiration from was John Kay.
John
And
Kay, okay.
man, like just hearing about his monstrous acts was like, oh no, like that was such a kick in the gut, man.
I know.
Because yeah, don't meet your heroes, kids. They might molest you. Who knows?
I mean, you can say that to the producer of iCarly and all those Nickelodeon shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like don't meet him. Yeah, he's good, but don't meet him.
What was his name? Dana Snyder. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Snyder. Yep.
That dude
Yeah,
is
that's
great.
him. That's great. So, yeah, so your art's amazing. I like your art. It's unique. You're going places. Now, have you ever thought about selling at conventions, say like comic conventions? Because I think
Yeah.
your style of art would actually fit into the comic genre. You could actually do something with it and maybe make like some creepypasta comic books. And I think it's just unique enough that can also fall into the horror genre of people that would say, "Oh, I like this. This is creepy. I want one."
Yeah, so I have done some small ones. I did
Okay.
HoloCon here in Missouri,
Okay,
an
okay, yeah.
anime con that I did not make it to. I was so bummed out over that, but
Mhm.
it just didn't work out. This was going to be the year. I had already talked to my wife about it. I was going to buy a booth at WonderCon in St. Louis. I was just gonna go balls to the wall and do it. And here we are. Thanks, COVID. No, that didn't happen. But yeah, I've done that small convention. I've done a lot of concerts. Um,
Okay.
so I've gone and done that. I would love to do, obviously San Diego Comic Con would be awesome. I don't even know how much the booths cost there, but I think for a decent booth at WonderCon was like $200. And
I think
well,
that was the price of New York City Comic Con. My friend did that, and she said it was about 200 to 300. She paid it, and she says it wasn't even worth it because
really,
basically, when you saw the crowds, all the crowds go into the artist den, and it's so crowded, you're like elbow to elbow, like on the
yeah.
Japanese subway train. And she says, "Ugh." I guess it just wasn't worth it for them, but. Yeah, San Diego Comic Con, that's on my wish list. But first off, you gotta get a little bit better, and you gotta make more money. And if you can make enough, you can actually afford San Diego Comic Con. That includes the hotel, that includes all of your meals, that includes your booth,
Uh-huh.
all the supplies you're gonna need. Plus, how you gonna get out there? Because I got 2 suitcases. I got one with all the stuff I use to set up my table, and then I got one with just my art prints alone. And
Yeah.
this is like it's going to cost money. It's not
So
cheap.
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Because obviously you have I did a little research myself on
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
So and
Sure.
you seem to have gone and done you're pretty comfortable at cons, right?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, yeah. So have you sold, how do you do with selling prints?
Well, when I first started out, I didn't know what I was doing. My first year I sold at a comic convention was in 2017, and that was at Four State Poppin' Comic Con in Hagerstown, Pennsylvania. I
Uh-huh.
remember because the guest was the two guests. We had the Red Ranger, Rocky the Red Ranger, and you had Rita Repulsa. She was
Oh,
there, Carla
nice.
Perez. So that was my first thing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do Carla Perez art, and I did, and I look back on it, and it was like she thought it was hilarious, but now I look at it, it's like it's horrible. But um,
Eh,
so I watch what other artists do at their booths. Some
uh-huh.
say they're selling like $15 for one print, or two for 30, or buy two get one free kind of deal.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of what I do with the prints. And that's only just for the first day. And then when it comes to the last day of con, I slash the price in half. So instead of
Gotcha.
15, it goes down to $10 a print, or buy one get one, because once my stock is out for that con, it's gone, and then what I have left over, I kind of merge over to Etsy, or I save for the next convention. And that's kind of
Gotcha.
how I do it. And all my prints are 11 by 17. I keep them at 11 by 17 format. I tried the smaller postcard format. It didn't do so well. It's more of a hit or miss. It's like I was told by the guy who I met him. He was a guest speaker at a business conference. He was Johnny's Cupcakes. He makes T-shirts. I met the guy who made Johnny's Cupcakes, and he says, take risks. If it doesn't work out, you learned your mistake. Try something different.
Sure,
That's basically
absolutely.
my advice I can get to people, and that's basically what I do. So,
I ask because I have I have never had good luck with prints. I've done
really,
prints. I've got like a whole file cabinet back there of
wow,
prints, and I end up sending them as bonus things
yeah,
to people who bought, the actual pieces of artwork.
Correct.
So
Well,
I'm like, I have tried so many times.
Well,
And
it's kind of like a hit or miss because I make so much art, you know. I started doing commissions and then I realized the commissions got a little bit too overwhelming. So I stopped doing commissions and started just creating art that I can sell at conventions and kind of mass market myself. So you don't know what's going to sell. So what you make is you're basically kind of taking a risk. So by let's see and find it. So by say taking a risk, you know, I did Ultraman. Ultraman really did not sell as a print. I still have all of the ones I got printed. Now, however, you compare that to, I can stay in this one. Compare that to, maybe is it here? Maybe. Nope, not in that one. Thought it was. We'll go 2020. What's sold here? A lot. Oh yeah, no, that's not it. Maybe it was. Oh well. Yeah, I have them all organized. Do you think I would be?
I know I make
prepared?
my stacks too, and then I can't find nothing.
Just how you compare it to say Make It So #1. And you know, this one kind of appeals to both Trek fans. It appeals to crafters and sewers, and it's like, oh, I'm all the above. So you
Okay.
don't know what's going to sell. You're just taking a risk. So compared to the other one, which I made that same year, this one actually sold better than what I thought it would. I was like, huh, okay. And then I turned to a T-shirt, and then it's selling like hotcakes. It sells like in spurts, like maybe one a month off of Etsy, maybe one every other month, and I get
Yeah.
like. I'm like, huh. So it's kind of like a hit or miss. You don't know what's going to sell. What I found out works for me is before every con I go to, I do what I do here. I do YouTube. I go to my page on Facebook and I say, "Hey guys, this is Rocky Red Panda. Telling you about da 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 this weekend on da 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 da. Come check it out. I'll be selling there." And what I usually do is I say I have limited edition prints for sale, which I'll be giving out. Or when you stop at my booth, I have a free print. It's limited edition. Only pick it up at this con. Once they're gone, they're gone. I'm not going to have any more. And what was this one's limited edition print this year? Oh yeah, that's right. Master Yoder. Yoda's Amish cousin. I had that as
I love it.
I still have a few, but they walk by. That's the free print they get. I usually get them out to kids. You know, you want to talk to kids. It's like, I learned something in another con. Make small things that people would actually want to buy cheaply. Like buttons, keychains.
Yes. Give your art a job.
Correct. Let me see here. Buttons, stuff like that. There we go. So like small things like say pins, make pins, little buttons. I invested in a button maker, keychains, small things, because art alone, it's going to be great. I've seen people just try to advertise their art, but for me, I take that into a new level. It's like, oh, there's a pin. Well, if you get this print, I'll toss in the pin of the same art for free. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, you
Yeah.
kind of work with them.
Right on. Yeah, and you're absolutely right about doing the pins and stuff. That's for anybody who's starting out, that's a good thing to know is like I just said, give your art a job, because
Right.
people, if they can wear your artwork, they'll buy your artwork. That already makes you seem more professional. You know?
Because where was I? I was at a convention and I was up in Danbury, Connecticut, and someone was writing by stickers. I'm looking for stickers. Are you selling stickers? And I had to first, so I was like, maybe I should do stickers. And I started reading some of these conventions, like, no stickers allowed. You can't sell stickers. You can't do this. You can't do that. And I think the reason being is in the anime conventions, especially, someone decided to kind of abuse the sticker policy by sticking them on things they weren't supposed to inside the conventions. And yeah, and he got in trouble, so he had to issue a law ruling, not allowed to sell stickers, but stickers seem to do well, I guess. I give them out as free promotions. Oh, while you're here, it's like, here's a business card, here, have a free sticker. Because
Yep.
I tell people, I'm one that picks up that business card, even though they don't buy something from you now. They'll either become a friend of yours on Facebook, they might buy something from me Etsy, or say, what happened with me, by next year. It's like, oh, I remember you from last year. And he looks at your art and it's like, I remember this one. I think I want to get it this year.
Nice. Yeah, it's true. It's true. For sure.
Awesome. Well, I would like to thank you. Thank you for being on the show. I absolutely love your art. I can see you going places, especially that Ronald McDonald. That's going to give me nightmares, but that's okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I just like, I don't think I want chicken nuggets now. It's like, I now know where they're coming from, and it's not coming from the place I thought it was. Oh.
I appreciate you reaching out, man. For real. This
Yeah,
is
thanks.
not to sound like a narcissist. I love talking about myself. No, I love talking with other people in the industry. And this is actually the first YouTube video that other than my own channel that I think I'll be on.
That's what I forgot to ask you about. So we're not going to end just yet. I forgot to ask about YouTube because I did watch some of your videos and they're different. You do multiple things on your channel. So talk about your channel.
Sure. No problem. You're right. There's a lot going on there. So I'm kind of squeezing that into a niche finally. Whenever I started, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So this past, we'll call it a season, I guess. I kind of felt my way through and how to incorporate my artwork into the actual videos and stuff. So moving forward, I'm starting back this month at some point. But there's a lot of speed paintings, a lot of time-lapse paintings and stuff like that.
Nice.
But I like to do I like to have fun. One of my favorite people in the world is Conan O'Brien and the Good Mythical Morning crew. Like I watch them and I'm like, I want to do this for a living, but incorporate artwork into it. So
I did the same thing. I took aspects of that show. I did something like that. When I did the artist show before this, it was like American tea time, and I had my guest who loves tea, and I didn't have a sidekick who could magically mystery make tea, so I didn't know what it was. I just made it. It's like, okay, let's play guess what tea this is. And we left the bad Lipton American tea for last because everyone don't no Lipton tea, that's horrible. But it kind of like comes from Mythical Morning. It's like, can we eat this? Let's find out.
Dude, my wife killed it. The last video we did on this last season was she made 40s and 50s foods, and me and my brother ate them, and they were terrible, but like she was so down to help with that, and that's a big part of it. So other than your your interviews and stuff on your YouTube channel, which by the way, I love that you have it set up like a late night show, because late night shows, they're the backbone of American TV. If you ask me, I couldn't do it. I don't think it would take a lot for me to do that, but that's what I take a lot of inspiration from shows like that. And also it's so hard for me. So I don't know how you feel about it, but doing the videos where it's just me talking is so much harder than having somebody to bounce off of. If I had someone to bounce off of, I wouldn't even have to make bullet points. Like, I just work so much better if I have somebody to play with. And I don't know. Yeah, having to send the kids upstairs to go to bed and then sit down and be like, okay, I've got to talk to this camera as if it's a living person now.
See, I kind of feel for Stephen Colbert, because when he started doing it out of his home, and then he went back to his studio, and he still has no audience. No one has no audience. And well, the audience, of course, is the film crew and the staff, but that's the only audience you're going to get. I kind of felt for him. He's like, you know what? It kind of feels weird with COVID-19 because I'm talking to myself every single night when I'm actually talking to you guys out there in the studio audience that doesn't exist. You're on television. You're watching me. It just feels weird night after night. So I enjoy these guest interviews. That's basically
Yeah,
what he
for
said.
sure.
But when I first did it, it's like, okay, let's add in laugh tracks. Let's make this hilarious. And then when Stephen Colbert had started doing it with the COVID and everything, it's like, I like that better. I'm not going to put in fake laugh tracks and make people laugh on purpose. I'm going to watch them laugh hysterically at something on their own time.
Sure. And that says a lot too. If you can get a laugh without having to prompt people,
Correct.
like that says a lot about you and your skill with doing it. Because have you ever tried watching Friends or The Big Bang Theory without a laugh track? It's depressing. It's depressing.
It's depressing. I mean, I watched that whole episode. Pivot. It's not going up. I was like, stop. No, stop. Can I return this couch?
Yep.
Yeah, without a laugh track. And it was like, actually, that's real life. That would do something like that, and that's not funny.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it's funny. And I thrive off of outside, like at work, my day job, working retail. If I'm not, making artwork, like my job is to make people laugh. That's the reason. And I'm a manager, and like, I consider the day successful even if we bombed in sales, but I got our store laughing a lot because I'll make announcements over the intercom. At my store, my home store, like I'll get on and start singing songs and tell everybody it's Goodwill karaoke time. And I've got 80-year-old women out there just like, laughing and carrying it on. So comedy and artwork, yeah. Now with you're a fan of comedy and stuff.
Correct.
Obviously you like Colbert and Conan.
I like Colbert. Conan is great. I grew up with Johnny Carson, even though I was a little bit too young to even remember watching it. I grew up watching Carol Burnett show.
Yeah.
And then more recently, I think the inspiration for the first show I did, the artist show, was Craig Ferguson. I just found my mother didn't like Craig Ferguson. Most people didn't, but I just found this raunchy sense of humor. It's like, this is CBS. We can't say blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say blah, 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 blah. And then the talking robot. And I was like, there's just something funny about him. I just like it because he's down to earth. He doesn't try to be funny. He doesn't do really funny. He just sits there and he's just like, I'm very relaxed. Like, I really don't want to be a comedian. I don't really want to be a talk show host, but I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to do my try. And then he does it. And he's like, what we learned tonight on the show tonight, Craig? I was like, I like that.
Yeah. Oh, Craig's great, man. My wife was the one that turned me on to Craig Ferguson. It's funny because I don't even think she likes him. And I love him. I think he's hilarious.
I think he's like the best thing. And then Craig Ferguson got replaced by was it the Late Show with James Gordon, and I was like, oh, he's funny. I mean,
yeah, he's not bad.
He's not bad.
He's like the Ellen DeGeneres of late night.
He is. He's like the Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, he does have some comedy, but then the reason why I like Colbert so much is he started making fun of politics and Trump, and then he continued doing that, and then he mocked it. And I was like, this is hilarious. I'm enjoying learning my news by watching Colbert, and I catch it every night at 11:30, and it's like, I can't stop watching it. He is just hilarious. What's he doing now? It's Trump and the giant impeachment 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed out because I actually started a James and the Giant Impeach painting, and then I caught Colbert and I was like, well, wait a second, he's already doing this. And so I threw that one to the side.
Well, it's like, for me, I find it okay if someone does something. I was like, well, I'm gonna do my own version of it, and I'm gonna, I guess, take my own spin of what they're doing, and I'm gonna kind of say make it better, because someone said what was it, someone already took what was it, Patrick Star and Pinhead, and kind of did their version of Pinhead and Larry. I was like, you know
Yeah.
what, no, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna be more accurate to Pinhead from the movie and put things on his belly, and it said, "Who you calling Pinhead?" But still keep that facial expression, but make sure all of the nails are correct and make it more
Right.
realistic. I was like, you know what, you can do it better.
So real quick, I don't know how
Yes.
much time you're wanting to spend with me,
That's
but
fine.
I've been isolated, so I need this. No.
I mean, that's
the-
fine, because when I did my racism interview, that went for a while, and I was like, whoa. But that made the whole entire show. That was basically everything, because I really didn't plan for extra stuff for this show. So I mean, it's just this and talk about the Super Bowl, which I'm not really don't really like getting into teams, and not really excited to talk about the Super Bowl. I usually talk some like Super Bowl fun facts, but I'm just saying.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
could care less. I don't even know who's playing. I'm like, I'm just bummed out that I'm missing out on our family's Super Bowl party, because I really want my father-in-law's wings. But yeah, I was going to say, going back to comics and Comic-Con. So you brought up comics. I am actually working on a book right now. It's been written already and illustrated. Now I'm going back through and digitizing all the illustrations. But the name of the book is The Liverwurst Tree, and it's a lot like Shel Silverstein, and just the whole thing's, it's just a poem book, a bunch of ridiculous poems about potted meat and gross things, with a couple serious ones in sprinkled in there. But so that was another thing I wanted to talk about, and that's really all I had to say about it. Now that I think about it, I thought I was going to have more, but I guess not.
all right, so we'll be right back with more with our lovely interview after these messages. You are watching This Week Live with Rocky Red Panda, only on PND Studios. Make sure to like and subscribe. So
Good.
So while I'm talking to you, I see that lovely art that looks like a dinosaur on that back wall. Looks like something out of Beetlejuice. Yeah, what can you tell me about that one?
This was actually so the artist Nicholas Caesar. This is an original Nicholas Caesar piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
This was an
amazing.
art trade. We did an art trade a few years ago, and
Lucky you.
yeah, I was pretty. I'm stoked to have his artwork hanging in my house, but I'm even more stoked that my artwork is hanging in his house. Yeah, I did a small commission for him, and he asked how much. How did this go? He asked how much I wanted, and I was like, well, named a price, and then I was like, but are you cool with trading pieces, because I've always wanted a piece by you? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And so he just had me pick out a painting that matched the price, and I was like, okay. And so yeah, I've had it for a couple years, and it brings me joy every time I look at it.
I was looking at it, I was like, I love that. I was like, that looks so familiar. I know that artist.
Yeah, Nick Caesar has he's got such a unique flair to his work, because it's simple. The most of his stuff is very simple, but the washes for his backgrounds they're like hypnotizing.
Yeah, they are.
They're beautiful pieces, and I love Nick. Nick is great. Nicholas Caesar helped me out so much with just getting my name out there on social media. Nick Caesar, Mark Gagne, and gosh, there's been a handful. It was funny, I actually discovered Nicholas Caesar on MySpace, and at that point in time, I thought that, you know, him and Gus Fink and Ollie were kind of untouchable, like they were celebrities in the art world. So I never really thought that he'd respond to me or anything. Fast forward to Facebook, and I commented on something, and he commented something long back, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, cool, I'm glad I'm getting to talk to you. He sent me a friend request, and we talk fairly regularly now, you know, like it's kind of cool.
Because that's what my friend taught me. She taught me this very big rule is don't treat celebrities like, oh my god, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Right.
No, I mean there are some, I will admit, there are some artists and some celebrities that actually live off of that. If you don't give them fame and adoration, you know, they'll get very upset. But there are those that basically, if you treat them down to earth, like, hey, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. So you have anything new, and just treat them like you're a friend. And then the next thing you know, you're friends with them, you're friends with them on Facebook, and you keep track of what they're doing. And you kind of crack jokes. Like I'm friends with Jim Crute. He is the helicopter zombie who got his head chopped off and Dawn with the Dead. He lives locally around me. And he posted about face masks. I said, you should get one with a zombie imprint on it. He responded back, just like most celebrities probably would. If I did that, people would know who I was. I was like, you got a point there. A little celebrity joke. Yeah, I was like, I get that.
Yeah, there are a lot, especially in the art world, there are a lot of really down-to-earth artists that you wouldn't think. Chet Zar is another one that he's super down-to-earth, you know, and he's like art royalty, you know, like in the lowbrow scene. Everyone knows who he is, but he'll just chat, you know.
I think the one person I was very disappointed in meeting, I was all excited, was Frank Cho. I finally got to meet my idol, Frank Cho, who did Liberty Meadows. And I had like a newspaper I've saved since 2001 in a little suitcase. And it was from Liberty Meadows when it was actually still in the Washington Post. And of course, he was late getting there. And then when he got there, he sits down. He had his assistant. You pay his assistant. And then you buy a print. He signs. And then you pay for everyone he signs. And he's like, oh, what's this? Newspaper. Then he takes out a different, doesn't use a Sharpie, he gets out a pen, he's like, oh, this is free. And he just puts it in. I was like, oh, but I just want to say hi and talk. And it's like, next. I was like, oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, that sucks.
But, you know, I have signed Frank Cho, but, you know, it just, here I am, been fans of them since high school. And I'm just like, well, he wasn't as excited as I was. And then you meet people like Bob Camp, and then you start reciting Powder Toast Man, and then the next thing you know, we're actually singing don't whiz on the electrical fence. So I'm like, you know, simple stuff like that. There are actually artists that actually care for what you're doing. I think the other one I met was the artist who did Pinky and the Brain. He actually looks like the Brain, which is quite odd. I met him, and it was the last day of the con. It's like, would you like an autograph? Here, this one's already signed. Take it. He's like, he's there, he's doing his job. At the same time, he doesn't want to be there. And at the end of the con, they raised money, and he's like, yeah, I helped raise money that goes to da-da-da organization. Thanks for having me. I was like, you're really making us depressing.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Yeah, I've not met anybody yet. Well, the one person that I have met online, I've not met him in person, but Gus Fink, who one of my huge inspiration, I've talked to him a handful of times. I never know how to take him. I'm like, I don't know if this is an act, if you really are this way, or if like I don't know if I'm annoying you. He's such a character that I'd like to just meet him in person and be like, okay, can we have an actual conversation? I don't know. But he's the only one that I wouldn't say bummed me out. I was just kind of like didn't know how to take it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think another one that lives near me did actually start to become friends with. His name is Ken Hunt, and he's a wonderful artist. He does comic book art and whatnot and covers. And it was like I kept seeing him at the conventions. I never really sat down and talked with him. And then he sat, then I actually had my booth next to his, so I finally got to talk with him. And it was like, you know what? He's not a bad person. You talk with the artists, and you learn a lot from them. And it's just wow, I like that. And so even though we're both artists, I took my time out of my day before work one day, even during COVID. He was signing limited edition copies of his comic book variant cover at the local comic shop. So I went in and it's like, "Oh, hey, George, how have you been?" I was like, "I've been pretty good, but that's good." I was like, "Good to see you." Yeah. Glad to be out. And I was like, boom. I was like, even though you're not selling yourself, you're going and supporting another artist during COVID that could use the money. And it's like, I'm just going to go in and say hi to my friend. That's
right.
It.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, artists they're we're a rare breed. We're different. We're unique. We don't just stick to one genre of media. We're all mixed media before you know it. We're trying experimentals because everyone's like, "Oh, you've already done acrylic. You've done canvas. You've done sketching. You've done this. What else are you gonna do?" I don't know. we'll find out. It's like I'm going through my A to Z on Andy Warhol.
Yeah, right. I think the only one that I have no interest in whatsoever is oils. It just seems like too much work. I work fast.
Yeah.
And that's just too much. It's too meticulous. I don't care. I don't even.
I tried oils once, and I said, because I was really into Bob Ross. I still love Bob Ross, and
oh yeah,
it's like I tried oils. It's like first you got to glaze and prepare your canvas. I'm like, I'm not doing that. My canvas, I'm just gonna do it straight on it. I was like,
I'm
gonna
do a little titanium white.
No, it's like, no, we're not using titanium white. It's like, no, I have regular white. I'm using regular white. I don't have titanium. And I'll no, this is not name brand. There's a Walmart brand, so I'm using this.
Yep. Yeah, Bob Ross is great. I fall asleep to Bob Ross still on nights that I can't sleep.
Bob Ross, yeah, he is great. Now this, he sits there and talks about his friends, his worlds, the animals, and painting. And I was like, that's a great life.
Exactly. Yeah, he had it nailed. Well,
I wish to thank you because you've been an excellent guest on the show, and you're an excellent artist, and we've talked from A to Z on just about anything we can talk of the con scene, basically, because it's good to talk about the con scene with other people, and I don't get to talk about that much. But definitely, if you're ever coming to say Maryland or Pennsylvania, definitely look me up, and we will definitely. I'll send you some cons your way because I think you'll be a good fit into them. You can get into them easily. It's not like saying, "Oh, you're denied. You can't get into it." Because I noticed some of the con scenes that I tried signing up for, they have what you call a system. You submit, and then they go through. They first give last year's participants first, and then whatever spaces are left, they go through what you call a raffle. If your name's not drawn from that raffle, then they put you on a wait list just in case people back out. If they don't back out, then tough luck. But the cons I go to are like, "Oh, you signed up? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you're in. First come, first serve. Yeah, we'll take you."
That's fun. I actually have some friends in Pennsylvania, so awesome. It could happen. Actually, I love to travel, and me and my wife, mostly we've gone out west to Colorado and Wyoming and stuff like that. But I told her, I was like, I want to start going east some. We haven't seen anything east, so yeah, could very well happen. And if I do end up out there, man, I will look you up. Maybe
definitely,
we can work together on something.
The one in Pennsylvania I go to is up in Harrisburg. It's Harrisburg Pop and Comic Con at the Harrisburg Mall. They're pretty good, owned by the same people who run the 4-state down in Maryland, which is pretty cool. And then the one in Maryland I go to, besides 4-state, is to go to Ocean City Comic Con in Ocean City, Maryland, and that's in December. It's always fun. I make a weekend of it. It's a 1-day con, but for a 1-day con, I made the most money out of a 1-day con that I've ever made because it was a new con and everyone was coming. First, the parking lot filled up. Then second, the auxiliary parking lot filled up. And then their backup parking lot filled up. And he had a long line of people around the corner just waiting to get in. I was like, holy Jesus.
That's dope.
It was
fun.
dope. And I mean, that's where I met Bob Camp. So I met Bob Camp, got my photo with him. So I was happy.
Sick, man.
Yeah, but
I would love to.
definitely. Well, again, it's been great to have you on my show, and we'll
been
have you again
wonderful
on
being here.
sometime. You know, once everything clears up and we start doing cons again, we can talk about how we've been doing since everything's cleared up in cons and kind of catch up.
Yeah, fantastic, man. I for sure. And thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. All right, and thanks. Take care, man.
Hey, you too. Take care.
So this past week, I told you we had this huge snowstorm that hit the East Coast. Well, lucky for me, I haven't done this in a while, but I actually took my camera. I went out to the Gettysburg National Military Park battlefield. I did some filming and I took some photos. So let's go ahead and let's check some of this out because, boy, there's some things that you will not see on a normal basis. So check it out. Hey there, folks. I am out here on the Gettysburg battlefield. It is snow out there, folks. A lot of snow. I'm doing something I haven't done in a while. I'm taking photos. Yes, I do have my Mr. Yuck sticker on here. This is my Sony A6300. And I'm out there taking some photos at the snow because not often you get to see the battlefield covered in snow. This morning, I was out at Culp's Hill. So you'll see some video and photo of that. And then right now, I'm over here at Devil's Den. Above Devil's Den, above me over there, that is Little Round Top. The New York Brigade is up top, a Little Round Top. Here is Devil's Den. And then you got snow all around. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just take a look at this, folks. This is what's amazing. I just love it. What you're looking at over there is Robertson's Brigade. Robertson's Brigade, the 4th, 5th Texas, and 3rd Arkansas Infantry. Right out there. Absolutely amazing. And then over here, if you turn this, that is Little Round Top. Right there. Off in the distance. And Devil's Den is down there. So, it is absolutely amazing. Gonna take some photos. So let's continue. Alright, so where are we now? We're at what we call the Bloody Wheat Field, which is right in front of us. In the summer of 1863, the golden wheat field grew tall here. About 4:30 p.m. on July the 2nd, the wheat field was transferred into a whirlpool of death. Just imagine that. Over a period of 2.5 hours, this ground challenged hand 6 times. Confederates of Longstreet's Corps attempted to smash the loosely knit Union line, which is just right there behind us. Take a look at this. This is wonderful. 2.5 hours of fighting out here. 2.5 hours of fighting. The Confederate attackers came from the rear and left. The Union reinforcements moved into the area from your front and from your right. And this will be from the rear and your left. Yes, and the soldiers fought ready-made defenses at the stone wall behind you. The stone wall. There's a stone wall back there. They fought. So, you know, this is just 2.5 hours of fighting out here. But let's do my thing. Let's go get some photos.
It's just eerie. It's different being here on the battlefield during the winter. I can actually say that's quite different. Hey, I like it. So let's continue on. This is the Pennsylvania Monument. It looks like they're doing some renovations or something to it because they have a little fence up. But I just like how that snow was just drifting there on the stairs. I did get a photo of that. I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm at the spot of the high water mark. Now the high water mark is the pivotal point of the battle during Pickett's charge. The Confederates over yonder charged the field in 1863. High water mark is where some of those Confederates got through the Union lines. Even though what happened, we all know what happened on July the 3rd. It was a change in the whole war. The Confederates lost whole entire regiments that day. But we're here. Know how thick the snow is. That's my foot. That's the snow. Look at this. Whew. Though it's winter, there's still tourists out in the plenty. That's right. Tourist season really never dies, and Gettysburg people come year round, so that's surprising. Good for Gettysburg. Maybe it'll pick back up again. Alright, so yeah, that is the Gettysburg battlefield during winter with snow. You don't get to see that often. How about that? Alright. Ta-ta. Back to you, Rocky.
It's different seeing the Gettysburg battlefield covered in snow like that, especially those cannons by the high water mark in the ground like that. I'm just baffled. That's just so baffling, but it's so cool at the same time. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, so let's give a thank you to our special guest of the week and artist of the week, Lakota, for appearing on this show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, to all you people out there that stick around for new exciting episodes of This Week Live every week here on P&D Studios. But for now, this is Rocky Red Panda signing out for this week. And I will catch you next week. Till then, you guys have a good week. Make sure you like and subscribe for more awesome videos from P&D Studios. Till then, ta-ta.